Hey friends, welcome along. I'm here to talk about knee rehab on Total Gym. So knee rehab comes in all kinds of forms. Meniscal tears, ACL, MCL, medial chondral, there's so much that happens through the knee. And it's not always the knee's fault. It can be a lifetime of habits of a foot turnout while you're walking. It can be weak glutes. It can be tight muscles. So your knee's meant to sit in one place. So if you've got tight muscles pulling it either by the calf, the quad, or the hamstring, and you want it to work functionally, eventually something is going to give. So if you're one of those people, here is a knee rehab that you want to have in your back pocket for every time you have an issue and you want to get back on the Total Gym. So there's always a way to start. Listen to your doctors and surgeons of what you are able to do. They normally will say 6 weeks non-weight bearing. However, on Total Gym, you aren't full weight bearing. So you can start a little earlier with caution. So of course, the one golden rule is to stay really low. So it's only partially your weight. So your weight is part of the recipe. So if you're carrying a bit of weight, keep it even lower. I'm weighing about 58 kilos. So this would be about fine for me to start on with any kind of knee rehab. And in saying that, I have a misaligned patella in my left leg from years and years of just weight bearing wrong. And then I just literally did it in a surfing accident. So I have zero pain in it because I keep the muscles around it, supporting it. But eventually I will need surgery. But for now, all I do is put PRP injections in, which is another option, but not for this video. So with that all said, let's get started. So first of all, in your knee rehab, may I encourage you to have shoes off, because your shoe stops you from using your proprioceptive muscles in your foot and a major tendon that comes through your foot all the way up your leg. So you must have the whole complex, everything from your feet through to your hip and your glute, all in alignment. What do I mean by that? So when you're on the Total Gym, we need to have the foot, knee, hip, always in alignment. So you are not going to have your feet together or too wide, and definitely no foot turnout. So that is number one, guys. With you beginning to do your rehab, you may be trying to teach yourself new habits. So even though you've done it all your life, that caused you an injury. However, that's not always, that could be, as I said, there's so many things that can happen to a knee. It could be athletic, could be a fall. But if it's because of posture, alignment, then when you do your rehab, it's time to really think about that alignment. So with many knee rehabs that I've done in my studio and with great success, let's get started. So the other rule is you don't want to go past 90 degrees when you first start working out again. And when you first start, we start bilateral and then unilateral. Bilateral is both, unilateral is single. So I've got my power tower. What have I got it on? I've got it on a level 7. And that's really low, but there's no point in going higher until your body says that's fine and you can go higher. So the other thing you want to have around is a ball of some kind. Because with knee rehab, you'll often find your medial system, which is your adductors and all down the inside of your leg down to your foot, can become weaker. And your lateral muscles and IT band down the outside can become tighter. So we need to work on balance around the knee. So have a ball, because you want to keep the adductors part of this and you want to have alignment. So this, if your foot starts to go out or your knee starts to flop out, the ball will drop and it will be an indicator that you have lost that integrity of your movement. Okay, so because we don't want to come past 90 degrees, the secret is to not sit at the bottom of your unit. So if you don't sit at the bottom of your unit, you can't go past 90 degrees. So that's the first thing you want to do, is come onto your unit, and depending on your range of motion, come on cautiously, sit at the top, then use your arms to move the board, because you don't want to be climbing around losing that 90 degrees. So use the board and use your bottom to get into position. So I'm going to take my feet up onto the toe bar. Now I'm using the toe bar because I want to be using my feet. I want to be using my heels. You can do this on the squat stand, but please have your toes hanging over top, because you want to get your butt working in knee rehab. The butt can get real lazy when you've been off your feet, and you need to get the glutes on again, because that is part of the whole alignment. The glute, the quads, the calf, the shin, the foot, and everything needs to be working in balance again. So we take the ball. I'm going to come probably just under halfway. Put my heels up, place the ball between my knees, and put a little squeeze on. And then check that my feet, my knees, and my hips are all in alignment. Roll myself back down. Check your head is on the glide board. If you are off the end of the glide board, simple guys, grab a pillow and put a pillow underneath you, because when you're doing knee alignment, you may come off the end of the glide board. So get a big, this normal pillow, put it under your head. It doesn't matter if it's over top of the cable. It doesn't interfere with it. So we really just start here, but always make sure rib cage is down and the zip on the tummy, and put a squeeze on your buttock muscles. Now I've got everything in alignment, so I can just start to come. You'll see I bottom out here. So I can now come down a little bit more, because that's 90 degrees. So that's how you find your 90 degrees. Everybody is different. We have different size legs. And just cautiously and slowly, because you want the local system, which is the small segmental muscles that hold your joints together. You want to work them, not the big working muscles, which are dynamic movement. That comes later. So just starting here, listen to your body. Any sharp pain, stop. A little bit of aching and stiffness is absolutely fine. Keep the squeeze on the ball and go for high reps. So, for instance, do about 20 or 30 of just bilateral. Now here I'm thinking about my glutes. Even though there's not a lot of weight here, I'm still squeezing my glutes, and I'm still squeezing on the ball. Then we're going to change it up, because we want our calf muscles working too. So all we do is slip down, grip with the toes. If you're on a squat stand, lift your heels up. That way we're working on not only the tendon going through the top of the foot and up the shin, but the tendon in the arch of your foot. Very important. So come down. Even though this is knee rehab, you want everything on to support that knee back up against gravity with your full body weight. So you start training it. Again, 20 to 30 of these little squeeze on, toes gripping like a little birdie, chin down, and just listening to your body. Now you always want to warm up with the bilateral first of all. Depending on your knee rehab, you then want to cautiously, you never want to come in to start with. You can try a wider squat, the same. Take the ball away and place your heels to the outside. This is why I like to use the toe bar, but you can use the squat stand with your toes hanging off the corners. Please also, super important, keep your feet high. You do not want to lose sight of your feet when you come down. That is putting stress on the patella. So we just hold. Now, if you want to just incorporate some upper and lower body together here, you can always just start a reach as you're doing this. And you can add a medicine ball or anything you've got around the house that's heavy. Like I have a medicine ball over here, which is about 3 kg. So I could add that if I want to, but just keeping it real easy to start with. You can hold your arms up and then think about your lower back down, and you'll be using your abdominals here. Or you can add on a nice curl and just exhale, roll up and roll down, roll up and roll down. So you can get some abdominals in here while you're doing your rehab. But if you're just really cautious of the knee, you may not want to do that. After 20 or 30, come back down onto your toes again wide and lift the heels up. Breath in and come down. Now, if you haven't got a ball, you can just add the arms. So that we're keeping some nice mobility through our shoulders and at the same time thinking of keeping your lower back down so that you've got some lower abdominals working with you. Again, when you look down, you want to make sure the knees are going through the middle of your foot, not inside, not outside. So super important. Nice work. When you've done 20 or 30 of these, then you can come around, roll back up, bring your feet back in, no, we'll leave the ball out of it. Just put your right heel on, take away your left, and exhale, come down into the right heel. So depending on what leg you're rehabbing, and do 20 or 30 of these. Now you may only be able to do 10. So whichever leg you need to do more on for your rehab, do that one only. Leave the other guy out because he's okay. So you're trying to get the one that you're rehabbing to come and balance with the other leg. Nice work. Okay, so then we have to do the balancing of the hamstrings and the calf muscles. So tuck into the tummy, roll your way back up, coming off, be cautious. Take your feet down, take your feet down. Be cautious when you get up. You don't want to go past that 90 degrees. And you can just lift yourself up, come around and put your foot holder up. Come up to the top and put your heel in, bottom at the top, roll your way back down. Now keep it nice and low. Now your heels are doing the work, not your toes. So you pull with your heels, let go with the toes. Again, don't go past 90 degrees. Keep your lower back down and just work here. Now if you find that that's enough for you and you can feel that that's really hard work, you're probably not ready for unilateral. If you are, do assisted unilateral. Making sure these knees, again, when you look down, are not going in like that. You want them straight. Have a break, have a stretch. And then I'm going to just do right, pretending it's my right one. And I'm going to take my left and hook it onto the top of the foot holder to slightly assist and pull up with the right heel, but assist with the left until you know you're strong enough. When you do this, you will feel what I mean. And you may only get 5, you may only get 2 to start with. The numbers are irrelevant. You work up at the rate that your body tells you to. So I've done about 5 or 6 here, and my hamstring is screaming. And I am going to put the other foot back in and just finish with 5 double bilateral. And that team, tuck into the tummy, and a big stretch out when you're done. Roll around. Always be cautious getting on and off. So the one that is a little bit jeopardized, take off your good one first, then assist the one that you have a problem with. And that is how we start in our knee rehab with the precautions, alignment, and numbers that you should be working on. And then, of course, all you do is increase the levels and the reps. And remember, bring in your good leg later on and then work on that balance so that you can get to a place where you can do easily 20 on each leg down on the toe bar and easily 10 on each leg low doing hamstrings. So I hope that gave you something to work with. Any questions, please shoot below anything you want to know, and I'll see if I can help you out.